I'm Grant with Grant's Game Rex, here with my monthly video on the best new editions of board games coming to retail. This has been a busy month for me, so sorry this is just sneaking in right at the end of the month, but it's still April. It still counts. It's still April. Best new editions. This covers re-implementations of older games, just new sort of updated versions of older games, and games in an established series of games. Basically, games that are coming out that are connected to a game that was already previously out, though it is a sort of separate new game. This is obviously a tough time in the board game industry with all the tariffs and unknown stuff that's going on. We've already seen a number of board game publishers close. I've also seen a lot of people lose their jobs that are not at, the companies are scaling back on people even though the company is surviving. So I just want to say that my thoughts and stuff are with a lot of the publishers and people that I've met in this industry. I am an optimistic person, so I think we will figure this out. It's just, sucks in the meantime. It is painful in the meantime, for sure. And I'm sorry to everybody who has been affected. Thanks also for everybody's well wishes. I was feeling sick in my last video, the expansions one that came out, but I feel a lot better now. And so let's get into all of the new editions of board games coming out this month. I've got 20 new editions of board games coming to retail in April, and as always, I will just go alphabetical through the publisher of the games. I'm organizing these alphabetically by publisher. So first up this month, AEG is releasing Ready, Set, Bet High Roller. This is the deluxe, upgraded, fancy version of Ready, Set, Bet. They did a crowdfunding campaign for it that did very well, but you can get it through AEG's website. If you did not back the crowdfunding campaign, there is a way to get the Ready, Set, Bet High Roller edition. You probably won't find this in a ton of friendly local game stores. It is a very premium product, but you can get it through AEG's website. And so, I guess that's a thing I should note. Like, when I talk about these coming to retail, is basically just any way that you can get it easily and immediately, whether that's friendly local game stores or big box stores or publishers' websites or online marketplaces, things like that. Ready, Set, Bet plays 2 to 9 players, and it's almost like an elevated party game. What I mean by that is, yes, it's a party game and that it's, got a lot of energy, got a lot of laughter, plays a high player count, but it has maybe more strategy than just a silly party game. You are betting in real time on a horse race, and the horse race is happening either through one player rolling dice and calling it, or you can have an app do it. And so, horses are moving forward on this track and you're putting down bets in real time, and it's got a lot of energy and it's a lot of fun. I love Ready, Set, Bet. This High Roller edition is essentially like put in poker chips instead of cardboard tokens. Do big wooden meeples. Do a big neoprene mat that's huge. It makes the box so much bigger. Everything is just bigger and fancier in this version. So if you want like a premium edition of Ready, Set, Bet, you can do it. Asmodee, in association with Lookout Games, is releasing Great Western Trail El Paso. This plays 1 to 4 players in 60 to 90 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. This is the medium weight version of Great Western Trail. Great Western Trail is a wildly popular game that is in the top 20 on BGG of most popular games of all time. And then there's even been a few versions of Great Western Trail. And this El Paso version is shrinking it down from a 3-hour play time or so to a 60 to 90 minute play time. I will say, I've heard good things about this, and I've heard mixed things about this, and the people that are often saying the mixed things are the ones that really love Great Western Trail, and it maybe feels too pared down to them, too simple, compared to the original game. So, this is meant to be a easier jumping in point for Great Western Trail, but maybe it's not the best version if you are already heavily invested in Great Western Trail. Maybe it's a better one for people who are new to that game. It has a lot of the same mechanisms as the Great Western Trail, where you're going around the board in this circle, you're getting cattle cards for your hand, you're spending workers out there. It does a lot of the same things that Great Western Trail does, but it removes a number of the mechanisms to sort of streamline the game, make it faster, make it simpler for people to have an introduction to the series. I really like this trend of like medium weight versions of heavier weight games, because I'm more of a medium weight gamer than a heavyweight gamer, and Great Western Trail is a pretty heavy game. So I am excited to check out El Paso just because it is an easier jumping in point. Asmodee and Catan are releasing Catan 6th edition. I alluded to this in my new expansions video because they are also releasing expansions for the 6th edition. But this is the, at this point, classic game of Catan. Came out 30 years ago, and they're celebrating that 30th anniversary with a new version that has upgraded components, refreshed artwork, refreshed box, same game, same mechanisms. I imagine a lot of you have played Catan out there, but this is the refreshed look version of the game. Plays 3 to 4 players, just like regular Catan, old Catan, I guess you could say. And it still has like the trading of resources, rolling of dice, building stuff out on the board. So Catan is a game that got a lot of people into the modern board game hobby, and hopefully this new edition will keep getting even more new people in. Brotherwise Games is releasing Super Boss Monster. This plays 1 to 4 players in 30 minutes, and it is a medium weight game, but on the lower end of medium, maybe even the higher end of lightweight. This is fully compatible with all of the Boss Monster stuff that came before it, but is standalone. So it can just be played. You can jump into the Boss Monster system with this game. You don't have to have played any of the other ones. Boss Monster as a whole is a kind of side-scroll dungeon crawl video game in card tabletop form, where you are playing as the bad guys and you are setting up this dungeon with different rooms and then trying to kill heroes that come in and get points for that. One of the things about this one is there is it contains everything you need to play, and it does have a solo mode in it, which is nice. That wasn't in the original Boss Monster, so if you want to play it solo, you can now. It also introduces the town board, which brings new mechanisms to the game. Random room draws are replaced with a simple draft, where you get to draft rooms. And then heroes still show up in town, but they also overflow into other locations where players can nab them with your all-new minion meeple. So yes, certainly connected to previous Boss Monster games, but has some new mechanisms and new stuff that will get more people in. And Boss Monster has that fun 8-bit art, sort of that old school video game art, and so that's a reason that a lot of people like it as well. All right, next up, CMYK is releasing a new version of Quacks of Quedlinburg. This plays 2 to 4 players in about 45 minutes, and it is, on that edge of lightweight to medium weight game as well. Quacks of Quedlinburg originally came out in 2018 and was published by North Star Games, and then CMYK picked up the English rights to the game in 2021, and were producing the sort of same classic version of the game, but now they just did a whole refresh on the game. So different artwork, new box style, upgraded components, nicer components in the game. And so, still the same classic game. If you like push your luck games, Quacks of Quedlinburg is one of the best push your luck games out there where you are brewing potions, but you're doing it by pulling stuff out of your bag. And if you get too many of one type of ingredient, your potion explodes. And then you can buy new ingredients to put in your bag. And it's a really fun bag building game. I would put Quacks as, a top 25 game of all time or something like that for me, because I love push your luck and I love the sort of different strategy of adding certain things to your bag. One thing to note is this actually also just changes the name to Quacks. It is officially called Quacks now, not Quacks of Quedlinburg. So makes it easier to remember, I suppose, for people. It has been a little bit controversial over the last few months, where some people are like, I hate this new cover, I hate this new art, and it's like there's a lot of big feelings about it. But the components are nicer, the components are upgraded here than it originally was, so that's nice about it. And I still have my original copy of it, but I hope that this can get more people into the hobby, because it is a really great game. It is a really good, welcoming sort of gateway type of game, one of the best ones out there, I think. So yeah, new version of Quacks from CMYK. Grail Games is releasing Food for Thought. This plays 1 to 4 players in 60 to 90 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. This is a reimplementation of a game called Consumption, Food and Choices, which originally came out in 2019 and was published by Colossal Games. So Consumption was a game about, literally consuming food, and so is Food for Thought. It is a worker placement game, a medium weight worker placement game where you are shopping for ingredients, you are cooking recipes, you're dining out, you're engaging in activities around food, you're doing exercise, you're doing all these stuff essentially to have a balanced and healthy diet. That is the whole point of the game. It is a game that is designed by a dietitian, so it is, trying to educate, I suppose, at the same time that it is entertainment, a game. This new edition also includes the Picky Eater and Extra Helpings expansions that were previously available, that were released separately, so it combines all that stuff into one game. So there's a lot of replayability, a lot of content in the game. And, if you love food, I don't think there's obviously food isn't one of the most common themes in board games. So fun to have a game all about food here. And that's probably a reason that people will check it out, is that interesting, unique theme. All right, Hachette, in association with Studio H, is releasing Cyclades Legendary Edition. I always want to say Cyclades. I don't know why, but people say Cyclades, so I'm pretty sure they're right and I'm wrong. Cyclades Legendary Edition plays 2 to 6 players in 60 to 90 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. The original Cyclades is very popular, came out in 2009 or so, and is ranked in the top 300 on BGG, and this Legendary Edition does a few things. Cyclades in general is a game that combines auction with area control out on the board. So you are, the bidding system in the game helps you decide which actions you have available to you and what you can do on your turn. And then you are spreading your troops across the board and, trying to control different places and getting points for area control. This new version, the designers reworked the original base game and its many expansions to make the gameplay more dynamic and fluid. So just, sort of tweaks and updates here and there to smooth out the gameplay. It does feature the bidding system that defines the actions that are available to each player. But the bidding system in this one, it notes, it features a shorter and more dynamic bidding phase than the original, thanks to new exponential bidding scale. It also has 6 gods available instead of 5, increasing the variety of actions that are available to you. And, one cool thing is the board is made up of modular tiles instead of just having a preset board. So there's a little bit more replayability and a little bit more variability in how the game is set up and how the board changes between plays. And I think that's a nice thing that we're doing in the board game hobby more and more, is realizing that, like, even if just the board is a little bit different, it changes the way the game plays and it makes it more, increases the challenge and variability, which is nice. So there's a bunch of different map configurations in this game because of the modular board here. There's also some new creatures and heroes available in the base game. So just, a lot of updates and new things to play in Cyclades. So, that's a game I've always wanted to play. It's always been on my list of like games I want to play, and I haven't, because I do love sort of bidding and auction style stuff in games. So I really want to try the new Legendary Edition for sure. Indie Boards and Cards is releasing Flashpoint Legacy of Flame. This plays 1 to 6 players in 45 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. This is a reimplementation of the game Flashpoint Fire Rescue, which is a pretty well beloved and well known cooperative game where you are working together to fight a forest fire. You are moving around the board and helping contain the forest fire. So Flashpoint Legacy of Flame takes that same system. This is a cooperative game where thematically you are fighting against forest fires, but it is now a legacy game with an immersive narrative-driven story that you're playing through. So as with any legacy game, the board state might be changing as you're playing, but you are unlocking upgrades and special abilities for your character. You also can take wounds, which might stay with you as you go along into new chapters of the story. You're gonna uncover hidden information with sealed envelopes that, change the rules and adapt the game and transform each playthrough. So if you like legacy type of games, or if you like cooperative games, this is a new version of Flashpoint, the great cooperative game, but now has a legacy element to it. And with any legacy game, there is a lot more narrative to it. There's storyline where you can make certain choices, and that's going to change the way the game plays and affect things as you move forward. So that's cool as well. Keymaster Games is releasing Parks 2nd Edition. This plays 1 to 5 players in 30 to 60 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. I personally love the game Parks. I'm not the only one. It's pretty popular. It is in the top 200 on BGG. This is a new version of Parks that is a all upgraded or updated, I should say, art. I think some people are going to like this style more. Some people are probably going to like the original style more, but it is very pretty. Parks in general, I think, is just one of the prettiest games out there. Both editions hold to that. It is a worker placement game where you are moving along a trail and getting resources along the trail, and then using those resources to buy cards that represent national parks, and trying to have the most points at the end of the game. This does add a few new mechanisms that I think are cool. It maintains a lot of the same thing as Parks, where you're moving along, you're doing the worker placement, you're getting resources, you're turning those resources in to get Parks. Now your canteens are more interesting than they were before. You have these tokens that you add to your canteens, and when you place water in your canteen, you get extra actions or extra resources, things like that. There's also camping mode, where there are these little campground tent tokens on certain spots of the board, and when you land on that spot, instead of taking the resources of the spot, you can activate the tent and get additional actions or bonuses. There's more stuff there, and so there's just, you know, it's kind of adding more choices to the game. It's maintaining the core DNA of Parks, and then adding a few twists and upgrades and you know, more decision-making points in the game, I think, for sure. So if you want a really pretty game, you know, some people are going to ask if you know, if you have the first edition of Parks, is this second edition worth it? That's always so hard for me to answer. I do think the things that it changes are cool, and I think they are better. Like, I think it does make the game better, but it is largely similar to the first edition of Parks. So I think you get it if you really like this art style more, or if you really like Parks and you want some new challenges and things like that, or if you haven't played Parks before. All those are great reasons to get the game. Cosmos is releasing The Crew Family Adventure. This plays 3 to 5 players in 20 minutes, and it is on that edge of lightweight to medium weight game. It is a card game. This is a new version of The Crew, which is a really great cooperative trick-taking game. And I would honestly say that, you know, for a while, trick-taking games weren't being made that much, and The Crew is the reason we have so many trick-taking games out there. The Crew did really well, and it sort of reinvigorated the genre of trick-taking. And it is fun where you are playing through a bunch of missions and you're doing it cooperatively through trick-taking. Well, this Crew Family Adventure is the same thing, the same system where you're playing through some escalating scenarios and with different objectives, but this one isn't trick-taking. It is making the sort of Crew, you know, obviously, as you might guess with the name, it is making it more family-friendly and making it simpler for family. They say it plays ages 8 and up. So it's instead taking that sort of escalating objectives and scenarios without the trick-taking and giving it the setting of the Swiss Family Robinson. We are all stranded on an island and working together to survive. And so the things you have to do, it will give you objectives. There's like a grid of cards, and you have a hand of cards, and it'll give you objectives like, oh, you need to play this card 4th and this card 8th, but in order to move between sort of rows and columns of the board of cards out there, you're having to play, like if I play a 2, you can play a 2 of a different color, or you're going to move us in the same color to a different number, and so you're just moving around this sort of shared board and trying to play cards in the right order in the right places. And so, yeah, I mean, and one of the nice things is there are a lot of those different scenarios, and, you know, they do scale up in difficulty. So depending on how old your kid is or how experienced your child is, then it can work for, there's different things in there for different experience levels. So if you like The Crew and you want to play it with family, then check out The Crew Family Adventure. Next up, Lucky Duck Games is releasing Backstories, The Emerald Wedding Anniversary. This is a new game in their Backstories line. Previously, they released Alone Under the Ice. This is the second game in the Backstories series. Plays 1 to 6 players in about 60 minutes, and it is a lightweight game. They call it a point and click game. The way the system works is you will have a card and you can interact with that card. You can search, you can talk, you can explore. And when you decide what you want to do, there are other cards that you kind of put on the back of it that have windows on the cards. And so if you decide, okay, I want to search this card, then you take the search card and put it on the back of it, and it'll reveal just that specific information. You've revealed the search information, what happens in that location when you search it. And so it's kind of cool, it's kind of interesting that you have these cards and you're using them to interact with different cards in different ways based on what action you want to take with the card. This thematically, you know, each of these backstory games are going to work mechanically the same way, where you are deciding what you want to do with the card and then revealing information on the back of it. But thematically, they'll all have a different theme to them. In this one, you are an elite, like, secret agent, and you have to thwart the dark machinations of the fearsome General Darkosa. Infiltration, discretion, and composure will be your allies as you sneak into his lair, dodge his formidable traps, and steal the precious top secret hard drive. So if you want a Mission Impossible type of theme, then check out Backstories, The Emerald Wedding Anniversary. Open Owl Studios is releasing Stars of Akarios 1.5. This is a updated version of the game Stars of Akarios that originally came out in 2022. Plays 1 to 4 players in 30 to 120 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. Stars of Akarios is a narrative-driven, cooperative campaign game. Some people have called it like Gloomhaven in space, where you are traveling through the galaxy, exploring. You're going to fight in epic space battles. You're going to upgrade your ship along the way. You're going to explore various parts of space. And you know, with the cooperative campaign game, you're leveling up as you're going. You're revealing different stuff. There's a 200-page scenario book, so it's really choose your own adventure as you explore different parts of the galaxy. So this 1.5 version, they did a crowdfunding campaign for the 1.5 version that did very well, and now it is available. If you didn't have a chance to back the crowdfunding campaign, you can get it through Open Owl Studios. What's new in this 1.5 version? The rulebook has been edited and revised, so it's easier to comprehend now, easier to play. They did a lot more work on the gameplay balancing, so stuff is more balanced in the game. There's an updated scenario book with expanded lore, so if you want to get immersed in the world, you can do that more. There is streamlined mechanisms in the game, so they cut some things that weren't working, and they redesigned space exploration, and they just refined the overall experience. So it is the same game, but it is a refined experience that's maybe a little bit more clear, a little bit easier to get into, all of that. So if you like the sound of Gloomhaven in space, then check out Stars of Akarios. Renegade Game Studios is releasing a new version of Axis and Allies Battle of the Bulge. This is a 2-player only game, plays in 3 to 4 hours, and it is a medium weight game. The Axis and Allies system, you probably already know, it's a war game system where you are fighting an opponent. In this version of the game, this is a 2-player only game, so you are either playing as the United Kingdom or Germany in this head-to-head war game that is recreating the Battle of the Bulge from World War II. You want to control territory, you want to eliminate troops from your opponent. It is a hex-based war game, so it has over 130 plastic miniatures in the game. So yeah, if you like war games, then check out Axis and Allies Battle of the Bulge. Renegade Game Studios is also releasing My Little Pony Festival of Lanterns. This plays 1 to 4 players in 30 minutes, and it is a lighter weight game for sure. This is actually a re-implementation of the game Lanterns, the Harvest Festival, but with a My Little Pony theme on top of it. So if you love My Little Pony, if you're a brony out there, a bro that loves My Little Ponies, then here you go. Lanterns, the original game, is a tile laying game where you are putting out tiles and trying to match different lantern types to the tiles that are out there. But one of the things that was, interesting about the game Lanterns is when one player places a tile, everybody gets something. Everybody gets a lantern card corresponding to the color lantern that is facing you on the tile that was placed. This version, the My Little Pony version, features the same sort of similar gameplay, tile laying stuff, but it has some modifications, including a solo mode in the game now. It also has a Gala expansion in which you add up to 4 friend cards to the game from the 16 included, because My Little Pony is all about friends. You always want to make friends in My Little Pony stuff. So now you have more ways to put out friend cards here. And now on your turn, you can spend mooncakes to use the power of a friend to feign a bonus lantern, make a second dedication on a turn, force someone else to trade lanterns with you, and so on for those special abilities. So yeah, if you like tiling or if you like My Little Pony, check out My Little Pony Festival of Lanterns. Rio Grande Games is releasing a new version of the game Tobago that came out in 2009. Plays 2 to 4 players, and it is a medium weight game. Tobago is another. I feel like this month has a lot of new additions of fairly popular games on BGG, fairly highly rated games. Tobago is another game that is decently high up there. It is an adventure game where it has some deduction aspect to it, in that there are treasures out on the board, but you don't know where the treasures are, and during the game you'll gain more and more information about the location of treasures, and then you want to rush to go grab the treasure before other players. You can move around the board in various ways by playing cards and things like that. It features a double-sided modular game board, so there's a lot of different island arrangements, and the terrain types will be out on the board in different ways. The new addition, as you might imagine, is same gameplay. It just has sort of refreshed art, refreshed components, that sort of stuff. So if you've ever played Tobago, or if it's always been something that you want, then there's a new version out there from Rio Grande Games. Roxley Games is releasing a new version of Santorini. This is Santorini 2nd edition. This plays 2 to 4 players, though I will say it's really meant as a 2-player head-to-head game, but you can play it as a team of 2 versus 2 if you would prefer to play 4 players. Plays in about 30 minutes, and it is a lightweight game. Santorini is another game, super popular. This is a game a lot of people compare to an abstract game like chess. Santorini is, you are playing out, you're building and moving around and trying to get your meeples up onto the 3rd level, but you can block other people off, you can cap different levels, you are going back and forth trying to outsmart your opponent. They are releasing another version called the Pantheon Edition. That was only for Kickstarter, so that one isn't available in retail. This one, this retail version, has 32 gods in the game, and the gods will all give you a special power. They'll let you build twice on your turn, they'll let you move, they'll let you skip a level when you build, things like that. And so it's really fun to explore the different gods. They do a great job of giving you god pairings. So you're like, oh, if I want to play with this one, also play with this one. That'll be a balanced game of Santorini. If you like quick playing strategy 2-player abstract games, Santorini is a really great one. This new edition, has really great components in it. I have had a chance to play this one, and it's got fun artwork. It's got all those different gods I was telling you that can kind of change the gameplay a bit, so that's where some of the replayability comes in. So Santorini is a fun abstract 2-player game. Steve Jackson Games is releasing Deadly Doodle 2nd Edition. This plays 1 to 4 players, and it is a lightweight game. It is a quick-playing doodle drawing game. So if you like doodle drawing, you will be simultaneously drawing paths through dangerous dungeons. It is a draw and draw card. We have some games that are like flip and rights, things like that. This is drawing a card and then using the card to draw a path through your dungeon and then racking up points. So they released a 1st edition of the game. This new edition has a bunch more maps in the game. So that is the main thing that it's adding to the experience. Maps that will change the way you're scoring points and the way you're moving through a dungeon. So yeah, if you like drawing, then check out Deadly Doodle 2nd Edition. Stonemaier Games is releasing Tokaido Stonemaier Edition. This plays 1 to 5 players in about 45 minutes, and it is a lighter weight game. I mean, Tokaido, the original version of Tokaido, is one of the more popular welcoming games, sort of gateway games out there. And, you know, when Stonemaier does a game, they do a really good job with the production and the art, and so that's one of the things about this Stonemaier edition. It definitely is, you know, nice components in the game, really high quality, well-made game. Some of the other things, well, let me back up and say, Tokaido is a game that was one of the first ones that did the system. You're moving your workers along this track, but the way you take turns is you can move as far forward on the track as you want, but only the player in the back is going to be taking a turn. So if you kind of jump way ahead, then somebody behind you can take a bunch of turns before they catch up to you, and you'll be stopping at spots and getting the benefits of those spots. This new version, what does this do differently than the original Tokaido? What is Stonemaier doing? They added a solo mode to the game, so it did not have a solo mode before, so that's cool. They, you know, upgraded component quality for the game. Their version includes a revised rulebook for clarity and accessibility. There include text on some cards and the character tiles to accompany the icons to make it easier to get into. It also includes reference cards for each player that explains the locations and the benefits that you would get at each location. And so, yeah, again, just kind of making it more accessible for people, easier to jump into, and quality components like Stonemaier does. So if you've always wanted to try Tokaido, this is a good way to do it. Van Ryder Games is releasing Final Girl Series 3. They did a big crowdfunding campaign for all the Series 3 content. It is available through the Van Ryder website now. Final Girl is one of the more well-known and popular solo-only games out there. Thematically, you are the last person alive in a horror film, and you are working to stay alive and beat the bad guy. Series 3 includes, you can get a box that has essentially all of the content, or it also has a bunch of smaller boxes of content worth of stuff. And each of those smaller boxes of content has kind of one scenario, one theme that you're playing through. So we've got a bunch of different ones here. This one has 5 different sort of feature films that it is parodying. I don't know, parody seems like it's not a funny thing, but it's inspired by, it has 5 different films that it's inspired by, and so just a bunch of different stuff that you can play through if you want some solo challenges, or if you like horror themed games, then Final Girl might be for you. Lastly this month, White Beetle Games is releasing Cleariosity 5-Letter Frenzy. This plays 2 to 6 players in about 20 to 25 minutes, and it is a lightweight game. Cleariosity is a game that White Beetle released a few years ago, and it has all of these sort of clear transparency cards that have letters only in specific spots on the cards, and you were putting cards on top of each other, and letters would shine through, and trying to build words by playing cards on top of each other, and then, making this word here and this word here. If you like word finding, spelling type of games, then Cleariosity might be for you. The original game, the cards were 3x3 grids, like each card had 3 spots for letters. This is now 5 spots for letters, so it is upping the challenge of the game. It is making it harder and more complex. If you like word games, again, this is still a fun thing where you can put these clear transparencies and spell words in the game. That's the whole idea of the game. So there you go. That is 20 games, new editions coming to retail in April. As always, I do every month, I do a best new games coming to retail, a best new editions coming to retail, and a best expansions coming to retail. You're always welcome to check out my Patreon, patreon.com/GrantsGameRex. Thank you so much for supporting the board game hobby at this difficult time for it, and we will persevere for sure. Thank you guys so much for being here. Happy gaming out there. I'm Grant with Grant's Game Rex.